But I may come back, and if I do come back, it will be with a new channel. So we'll see how that goes. The only thing you have to worry about, it does go against TOS. So YouTube's TOS specifically says you're not allowed to purchase channels from other people. Now here's the other thing. Here's something I just want to mention. I did not flag Forever Wolf Films channel. If I did, which I'm not saying I did, but if I did, I would be just as justified in doing that as anyone would be in flagging anything, right? I mean, is there like a moral argument against flagging channels? I personally think that it's wrong to flag channels from the perspective of a member of the YouTube debate community, which doesn't exist anymore. Okay, so the fact that it doesn't exist anymore means that, I don't see any obligation left. But it's like the hypocrisy of people who say that it's wrong for me to flag Forever Wolf Films channel, which I didn't do. But if I did, I would admit it, and I wouldn't be ashamed of it, because their channel was crap. Her philosophy, promoted violence, and it probably inspired people like Adam Lanza to perpetrate atrocities. So I don't care. I think it's good that her channel's off YouTube, but I didn't flag it, and that's I have no reason to fucking lie about that. But even if I did, it's how is that different than flagging something else? A professor has art on YouTube. What's wrong? I mean, how is that different than flagging that? If it's okay to flag something because it has nudity, and that's wrong somehow because it goes against TOS, then if I flag Amanda's account and something on her channel violates TOS, and they remove it because of that, then I don't see the difference. And the same goes for MGTOW live streams. If a MGTOW live stream has content on it, like medical misinformation and other stuff that goes directly against their TOS, and then I flag the live stream and then they get a strike, how is it different than fucking anything that anyone else ever did? Oh, that's right, it's not. If your justification for doing something is it goes against TOS and therefore it's morally wrong, reprehensible to put something that goes against TOS on YouTube, hey buddy, anytime somebody posts something that has medical misinformation on it regarding COVID, and somebody flags it, and they get a strike. By the way, I got a strike, or not a strike, but a warning on my channel for misinformation because of the video I had made called the Spartacus letter. Now, it was obvious to anyone who actually watched the video that it was parody. It was a satire. Obviously, it was a parody of the stupidity of people who would read the Spartacus letter, which ended basically in saying, and by the way, in my video, I basically said everybody should just wear tinfoil hats to protect themselves from the effects of nanorobots that are in the vaccine, allegedly. And YouTube just has a system where they can just delete your shit for any, they have a robot that looks at the transcript, or they have some, schmuck who makes minimum wage, looks at it for 15 seconds and goes, oh, that's medical misinformation. It's if you have a problem with and oh, by the way, that's the thing. I think YouTube's policies suck. If it were up to me, YouTube would not be allowed to delete people's content just arbitrarily like that. It would be one thing if they applied their standards consistently, so that and they did it transparently, so that everybody knew what the standards were. But of course they never do that. The video that I was parroting, Robert Wallace's stupid crap about the vaccine, about the Spartacus letter, that video is still up. That video is promoting medical misinformation. My parody video gets taken down because it's a fucking parody. I still have outtakes, by the way, of that. I literally couldn't read through it because I had actually written it down. Written down a script for it, and I was ad-libbing here and there, but it was pretty much, for the most part, sticking to a script. And I couldn't get through it. I think when I got to the part about Al Capone simplex or something, I don't know, I just kept cracking up. So I have like 2 outtakes where I just start laughing because I can't get through it. Now the people at YouTube who are the YouTube police, the Gestapo, they could see that. They can see the videos that I've uploaded. If there was a real appeal process that was real and didn't just consist of an automated message that. And by the way, I know who flagged my video. Like, this person's a hypocrite. This person's a fucking lunatic who has made like 100 videos about me on his channel. And then accuses me of like being obsessive or something, or like bringing up shit that happened 10 years ago. I think that if there's any reason a person can see, somebody is like psychotically obsessed, and they're obsessed with like trying to use me as a scapegoat because their channel had a bunch of videos taken down, and all their their MGTOW loser club live streams, they're all like on the verge of being canceled by YouTube, and they're going to be. It's just a matter of time, and everybody knows that the writing's on the wall. So I guess I'm like the scapegoat, because once all those MGTOW live streams are taken off YouTube, like there won't have a whole lot to fill your miserable life with. There won't be content to fill it with. So you've got to, this is like the last-ditch, desperate attempt to make it worthwhile. So you've got to like make me into some kind of scapegoat, and he's making all these threats online. Thinly veiled threats. And again, this is the guy who hacked my email account 4 years ago. Okay, so if the police need a reason, side one way or the other, I think we know how they're going to side. All because I made a comment 4 years ago about Colin Kaepernick, and how you're a fucking hypocrite because because you on the one hand you think YouTube is a platform, even though according to the law it doesn't matter. Platform, schmatform. You are a publisher under the fucking law. The law does not make a distinction between a platform and a publisher. Now, you can argue that it should. Wouldn't it be nice if we lived in a parallel universe where, like, the last 40 years haven't been just corporate buttfuckism in America, where corporations get to control everything that we see? That would be nice. There was a time, again, it was over 40 years ago, when America wasn't like that. There was actually a political will to have a sort of like the political will to treat information as more than just entertainment. It was sort of a public service. But that political will is gone, and so this is the results. We have all these platforms, which again are just publishers under the law, that can arbitrarily censor you. And if you don't like it, just, tough shit. You should have thought about that when your party that you choose to align with spent, 40 years making the world what it is, where you have these massive conglomerates, and we have no real effective antitrust laws to break these companies up, these multinational tech companies. You should have thought about that when you and your parties were, allowing these companies, or maybe you weren't even political back then. Maybe you weren't politically active. Well, and guess what? Everybody, we all work to make the world the place it is today, and it is what it is. I personally don't like it that YouTube is like that. I think that there's nothing wrong with speaking out against it, which is, I think, what Fred was doing. But whatever. I mean, the Fred thing, that was, again, the Fred thing came up in the conversation because when I had mentioned Colin Kaepernick, I said that, you should probably watch how you say certain things, because it sounds to me like you're sort of a busybody jerk, because we know your history. We know that, you went out of your way to try to get someone fired because you didn't like their art on YouTube. Okay, so you siding with Trump and trying to pressure the NFL to fire, or trying to pressure the NFL to drop Kaepernick because he expresses political opinion. Oh, that's the other thing too. Like, one of the arguments that these nitwits made about YouTube back in 2017 about big tech was that politicians were putting pressure on these tech companies to censor posts, and how that's just wrong, and therefore that's what really makes it a violation of this First Amendment. And it's like, well, if that argument applies in that case, then it should apply to Trump, who doesn't watch sports, by the way, is not a football fan. Opening his big mouth. So, maybe Trump should, shut the fuck up, because none of his business. Like, by the way, there's a church down the street. I don't know what they talk about there. They might talk about stuff I would find offensive. I don't write to my congressperson trying to get this church canceled. I don't concern myself with what the fuck they do, okay? Because I'm not a member of the church. Like, if you're not a football fan, then why the fuck have an opinion about what the NFL should do? Like, you're going to go out of your way. I think the NFL should fire Colin Kaepernick because blah blah blah. Who the fuck asked you, douche? Oh, that's right, no one. I got a deck of cards at the supermarket a couple days ago. I don't know why. Standing in the checkout aisle, and I thought, oh, I'll go ahead and get a deck of cards. So yeah, when this will probably be one of the last streams I do until I get a new channel, a better channel. I'm gonna come back, and here's the funny thing. When I come back, it will be it will not be immediately obvious who I am. Okay, it will be sometime in the future, maybe several months from now, and a channel will come up out of the blue, and it will be a channel that has existed for a while. And you won't immediately recognize who's behind it. But here's the other thing too. One of the things I learned is that if you flag a channel and you don't have any subs or you don't have any videos on your channel, YouTube doesn't give a shit. Okay, they're not going to take the video down just because you flagged it. It only matters if, like, you know, maybe dozens or maybe hundreds or possibly even thousands of people flag a channel. However, if you are a channel that has over maybe 60 subs and you've been around for a while and you have content that people watch, you know, you have watch hours that are getting up there, then your flags will carry more weight. See, this is how I know it was Quintka who flagged Forever Wolf Films off of YouTube. Because if I flag a channel like Forever Wolf Films, YouTube doesn't give a shit. They're not going to do anything. And this is what I learned a year ago. Because my old channel, you know, before it was taken down by YouTube, because I reposted Gary Mosier's Holocaust Nihilism, is the video, which was originally, I think, it was edited by Broken Mech, but I reposted it, and immediately YouTube just took my old channel down for hate speech. Even though it wasn't me making the speech, it was just I'm reposting something that Gary Mosier said. So before that, I had 67 subs. I had plenty of videos, a fair number of watch hours. And you know, if I had wanted to flag, now I did. Okay, so all right, so I did flag Draft Science, and they took the, you know, because he was making anti-Semitic statements, and you know, he was flagging my videos, so it's, you know, tit for tat and all that. So if he's going to flag my videos, I'm going to flag his back. And they took his they took his video down like that. If I tried to do that now with my channel, it wouldn't matter. It wouldn't make a dent. But Quintka, you know, has 100 subs. He's been on, you know, because of course he deleted his channel several times. But you know, I mean, you know, every time he deletes his channel, he builds back up his, you know, racist fan base, his misogynistic, racist, homophobic fan base back again. So they all resub and they give watch hours to his videos. So his flags carry more clout, a lot more clout. So what, you know, it would be an awful big coincidence if whoever flagged Forever Wolf Films channel just happened to do it, and then like the same exact morning. So in other words, he didn't even have to wait for word to get around. He just, like, possibly the same hour that it was flagged off of YouTube, he makes a video talking about telling stories about Mickey Farley flagging Forever Wolf Films off of YouTube. You know, and we're supposed to just believe that he didn't do that? I don't think so. So we know he did it. Now, why did he do that? Well, again, I think I've already made it clear. He's been a troll from the beginning. He was always trolling antinatalists, telling them to kill themselves. You know, and there's evidence of that all over. There's evidence on the now deleted Forever Wolf Films channel. You know, so maybe he's going around deleting all the evidence of his past lives. You know, because he did have a lot of past lives where he did an awful lot of stuff. And I don't really care about all that, but it's just like, now he's like making it apparently his life's mission to, like, teach me a lesson because I made a video called Doxing Fred, and I dared to opine that it's wrong to send videos to someone's employer, even though this person may have or may not have, you know, posted their, you know, name of their employer on their Vimeo channel, you know, whatever. Especially if your intent behind doing so was to be a troll, like an obnoxious troll, and leave snarky, stupid comments after he did that, to basically to rile everybody up. Like, it's obvious that was your intent, and it was basically a way of applying pressure to Fred and his supporters to shut the fuck up, because he lost an argument and he's got to get back at people, and force them, make their online life a little bit less comfortable, so that they might be a little less willing to express themselves. Just doing Google's dirty work behind the scenes. Like, just doing your part, like a good little soldier butt plug for the Google corporation, making sure that no one steps out of line, no one sticks a toe out of line, lest their online activities be sent to their employers. It's obvious that's what he was intending to do, because his version of the story doesn't add up. If he was only interested in getting information, why troll afterwards? Why make all these snarky comments for all of his supporters to see, if that was the purpose? Of course, it wasn't his purpose. Anyway, yeah, does anybody give a shit about this, by the way? I don't think they do.